Hey there, welcome to day 57 of playing chess every day until I reach 1500 Elo. Currently we're at 1182 after one win and one loss yesterday. We've had quite a few days lately where I had one win and one loss, but I've actually been beating like the higher rated opponents a lot of times, so I end up just getting like a couple Elo points. So that's what happened yesterday, and we're at 1182. And let's go ahead and jump into a 15-minute rapid game. Okay. Against at 1159, and we got black. Gonna play the Slav. Okay, so I think I want to go knight here. I learned like a little bit of the Slav theory, but it was like a couple weeks ago and I haven't like refreshed at all on it. But I think I want to take here. He can push this pawn to try to take the pawn back. I'll want to Oh, I didn't realize he could go with the queen right away actually. I must have actually missed something. I forgot something. I guess he will get the pawn back right away. Or no, because I can play this, right? We support the pawn and kick the queen out. No, because he can just take this pawn. Never mind. It's not defended. Um, so I think I'll just give up the pawn and just try to develop, probably. Unless, yeah, I can't do that. Go here. Yeah, let's just probably put the knight in front of the queen, but then I block my bishop in. So actually, I don't know. I don't really like this that much. I guess I go here instead. Okay, he gets the pawn back. And then I could just go here. Or to develop this bishop. I need to go back through the Slav theory again, though. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and put my knight here, and then we'll plan to develop the bishop over this way, since it's closed in here. I could also go ahead and... No, I can't go here yet. The queen is there. So yeah, I think let's start with the knight here. If he pushes this, is that an issue? I don't think so. I can hop in here, or something like that. I don't think that's a big concern. So yeah, I really need to figure out, okay, he does go for that. I think if I go here, if he trades, I have two defenders, so shouldn't be a big deal. Here, here, take back this way. Queen's under threat. He needs to move. He can't go to any of these squares. I don't think he has any checks. Yeah, he doesn't have any checks or anything. So yeah, I think let's just go there. Yeah, I could also take back this way. If I take back this way, I also do actually reopen the bishop, so I think I prefer that. Seems good. And then also, this is going to be a good target, the d4 pawn, because it has no other pawns that can support it now. So we could definitely look at attacking that, and then maybe if we can weaken it, we might also be able to attack or win the e5 pawn. Okay. So let me see if I go here. I could go for that pawn break. And I would like to move my knight so that I can open up the bishop. I don't have this yet. And I don't think he's going to allow that. I could go here to attack the pawn, which I kind of like because it also threatens this. I think I'll just go for that. And start pressuring this pawn, make him respond to this threat. So he's going to have to move his queen again, I think. Or he could like push this pawn or something, I guess. Okay, he does do that. He doesn't want to move the queen. I'm definitely considering just going here. We have plenty of defenders on that. So yeah, I think I'll go for that. And if we can, let's see, if I go there, if he takes, I take here, I'm threatening to win this. He's going to need to defend it. I guess he can defend it with the knight, but we might be able to put more pressure on it as well. He could also push one of these pawns, but then he doesn't have a lot of cover for his king. So yeah, let's go for this pawn break. And I could also go like this. Take, take. We are potentially pressuring this pawn. It's only defended by the king. And I do have this as a passed pawn now. So maybe I should just try to play like that for the endgame. But then I can't castle this quick. Actually, yeah, I think I'll go here because then I'm threatening to win this right away. I think I'll take it with the bishop. Now we're ready to castle. We're threatening this pawn and we're threatening this pawn. Also, if his bishop moves at all, we might have this, like skewer the queen and then take this pawn. Okay, he defends this pawn like that. So I think I want to get... What do I want to do here? I think I should castle and try to get the rook here on this pawn, double attack it, and also I could even before I get the rook to the file, I could take with the knight, and then if he takes like this, I can't actually pin his queen to the king because the rook won't be defended yet. But if I can get the rook defended, that will be a good threat. So I think let's castle first. We're putting a decent amount of pressure, and then if he does move the dark square bishop, I think going like this and then taking that pawn could be a possibility. But the fact that the rooks are not connected is kind of a problem right now, and the fact that the light square bishop is still tucked away here, preventing the rooks from being connected. So if I can address those issues, I think I'll be looking pretty good. His king and his knight are both tied to this pawn for now. Okay, he develops his light square bishop out. He's preparing to castle. If he does castle, his rook will be protecting it, so he'll be fine. But I think if I go here, take, I can't go here yet. But I also am interested in taking the knight and doubling his pawns there. So I think I need to bring the rook out first. And then we're threatening to win the pawn. He still hasn't moved his dark square bishop, but if he does it right now to protect this pawn, then that's when I think I'll go for this skewer. And then also, if I move my dark square bishop, it does give me a different square to potentially get my knight out of the way to free up my light square bishop. So yeah, here, here. Where does the queen go after that? Maybe here to threaten this battery, which actually, that would be a problem, I think. We need to address that. Okay, he castles, so I'm able to take here. Is there any reason not to take there? If he tries to pin it to the rook, I think I can just go here to protect it. Or I could protect it with the queen or something. Actually, no, because then the pin is a little worse, I think. I can protect it like here with the queen or something like that. I could also just take with the rook. But no, I want to take with the knight because I want this to open up. So let's take this. I'm able to. And then he can't really create a battery right away because I can just take his bishop and trade it. He's going for a sacrifice. Okay. I have no idea if this is really dangerous or not. If I take, yes, this check, yes, this check. I feel like either way I would end up being okay, but I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, this check, I come back. He doesn't have another check right away. Doesn't have a fork, I don't think. Or if he goes with this check, come back. Then he comes here with the knight. But if I play this, then it blocks him off the diagonal. So I think it's okay. Maybe I'll lose this pawn here. But let me just take. I think I'm able to. Although yesterday okay, yeah, check with the knight first. I thought maybe he would check with the queen first. Yesterday I thought I had calculated like an attack, and I totally miscalculated, and I got checkmated in my second game. So hopefully that's not happening again here. Yeah, I think if I just go down. Oh, he's going over there. Thought he was gonna go here. Oh, and he resigned. Oh yeah, because he just blundered his queen there. I think that's why I didn't consider that. For a second, I was like, oh crap, I didn't think about him coming to that square, but he blundered the queen. That was another quick game. We've been having a couple quick games lately. I'm up to 1189 after that one. Let's check the game review. Game review. Okay. I had 91.3% accuracy. Once again, though, for a really short game, it doesn't really matter that much having really high accuracy. Because it's when you only play like the opening pretty much and a little bit of the middle game, it's not the same as like playing a full game with that high accuracy. But it says I have a 1900 game rating. His was 1250. I had one in accuracy, no blunders, no misses. He had a couple mistakes, so let's go through the moves here. Yeah, I think that sacrifice that he went for though with the bishop, I think that just wasn't a sound sacrifice. Alright, it didn't like the knight developing here. It wanted me to kick the queen first with the pawn. Oh yeah, let me go back to the beginning because what should I have played actually? That's a book move to take. Yeah, I just wasn't considering this, but what should I have done? Should I have played a bishop move to prevent the check first or something? I don't know. I need to go back to the theory because I mean it was still equal, I think, but it would be nice if I was able to win the pawn. Alright, that was good the way we took back there. We have a little bit of an advantage here. Minus 0.24. This wasn't as great. I thought it might be pretty good, but it says it's only a good move. It prefers this pawn break. Let's take a look at that. So if he takes, what do we take back with the queen? No, the knight. Oh yeah, because we always want to open up this bishop. Take back with the knight. We reopen our weak bishop. I guess that looks pretty good. The king is a little less protected, but once we can get in the corner, it should be okay. Okay, so instead we played this. That pawn break is pretty good. It still wants this pawn break on f6 square though. And here, taking that was a mistake for him. It just gave us a really strong battery. It was putting a lot of pressure, forced him to play this move, although this says it was inaccurate. He preferred this. But either way, he's playing very defensive here because he allowed me to get this strong battery. And now he has this weak pawn here that I was able to pressure, so yeah, quite a few inaccuracies from him that just allowed me to pressure him a lot. I felt like this move seemed weird, but I didn't know why exactly, I think. We put more pressure there. We're able to win the pawn. What did he want him to play? After I put the rook here, okay, a castle was best, so I think there was no way for him to save the pawn. Maybe what happened if he tried to protect the pawn like this? And then yeah, this is what I was thinking. So if you try to protect it like that, it looks like this idea does work. Oh yeah, so that kicks him first. Then I was thinking I would go for this pawn. It wants me to take this one first instead. What happens if I take this one first? Is this oh, maybe I get the bishop pinned. Oh yeah, I think I lose the bishop there actually, right? Because it gets pinned to the queen and he has two attackers. And I don't think I can defend it. So taking this pawn would have actually been a mistake. Yep. So, but instead we're able to use the same idea, kick his queen and then take this pawn. So I like that. Hopefully I would have seen that if I had played it. I think I would have. And then this, yeah, this is just a mistake. This was not a proper sacrifice here. And he hung the queen there, so then he resigned. But let's see if he had gone here. Oh wait, no, never mind. That also is hanging the queen. What square was I thinking he was going to? Like here? Yeah, okay, then we can... I was thinking I would push the pawn, but we can also block with the knight. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough pieces over here to actually make this a good attack. And I also have escape scores on both sides of the king, which is important, because sometimes if it's blocked in, it can be a lot more dangerous. But in this case, I'm able to cover it, and I have escape scores on both sides, so that sacrifice just did not work. This has been a pretty quick one. I think I'm going to play one more. Let's do a second game. Hopefully it's not a super long one. We're up against a 1200. We got white this time. 1209. Standard first couple moves. Okay. I think we'll get the knight here. Should I just develop the bishop and then take back with the queen, or should I do this? I think I'll just do that first. Okay, I have two options here. I can drop the bishop back, and if he wants to take, I open the rook up, or I can just jump the knight in. Which I think jumping the knight in seems kind of appealing. Yeah, let's jump the knight in. Okay, now we have our knight on a really nice square. He goes ahead and castles. I think I will go ahead and put my bishop here and probably just trade that off if he wants to go ahead and take that. If he backs the bishop up, I'll probably take it. Although, I don't know, I don't really want to free his rook up if he takes back like this. Oh, I forgot about that move. Which is a little bit of a problem. Sorry, one sec, actually. I have some background noise I gotta fix. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. I think I might have had some background noise there, I had to fix it. So yeah, I think right now I need to just drop back here, and we'll just open this up. I mean, I could have kept the bishop there, and then open it up like this, and then try to get a rook there on the e-file. But instead we're just going to open this one up. Okay. I could take back with the knight, because if he takes here, I don't know, I don't mind that pawn structure, I think. If I take, he takes, I take here, the d-file becomes semi-open, but then I can push this, and I have a pretty strong pawn chain all throughout the center, so I think I'm okay with that, instead of jumping backwards. Okay, he doesn't take it. I thought he might. Let's just develop this knight. Or actually, let's push this pawn first. Just solidify this. Probably will castle queenside. This pawn is potentially a weakness, though. Both of these pawns here. This queen's coming out. I have multiple defenders here, so this shouldn't be a problem. I think I'll just develop my knight. He has 3 attackers. If I put this knight here, it's still being defended. Or I can take, and if I take, he doubles his pawns, but it does give him a file to attack if I castle queenside with his rook. So that could be a little bit risky. Oh wait, I also have this fork here. Forking the rook and the queen. And I think that works. So let's go for the fork. Now the king could go here. Threaten this weak pawn. I think after I take the rook, he'll need to take back. I don't think he... Wait, actually no, because he could take this with check right after I take first. Oh no, if he goes there, I can just trade the queens. My queen's looking there. He's taken his time now. I don't think he noticed that fork. I think he missed that. He was just focused on pressuring my knight. I would have still been able to defend it, I think, but I would have, all my pieces would have, or like my knight here would have been playing a defensive role. Okay, I think we're going to get this queen trade. Here, here. He will be able to take back and have the rook a little bit open here, but I think we'll be up material, so I think it'll be looking pretty good. Maybe he's hoping that I just take the rook right away and don't realize that my queen is just hanging, but we're not going to miss that. Yeah. There's no other better moves, I don't think. I'll just take the rook. Okay, now we're kind of getting into like an end game. I think I'll go knight here and here, probably. Maybe get. I probably should just bring my king up first, put it on a light square since he has a dark square bishop. His knight is pretty restricted, which I really like that. So yeah, I think instead of castling, should I castle to connect the rooks? I'm definitely tempted to just get the king more active right off the bat. And then also the king can be close to these pawns, which are weaker, and can get in the center of them potentially and support them all if I need to. So I think that's what I want to go for. King up, knight here, knight into here. This can open up. We can have this rook come to this file, try to trade it. We have a +2 advantage. All right, he's rerouting his knight because where it was, he didn't have any good squares. Now this potentially is a pretty decent square. If I kick him from there, he can hop into here. That's a fork on the king and the rook, so we don't want that. So let's just get our knight more active first. Actually, let's bring a rook here first. Do I want to, which rook should I bring? Because this one already has an open file, but I almost want to move this one over because it makes this one more flexible. This one has a lot of different files it can look at. So I'm not totally sure. I can also go here, right? Here and then here. I don't know if I want to do that. Here, take, knight comes in there, we're threatening the bishop. I guess I kind of do like that. And if I can play this, then his bishop is like useless at that point. So let's actually go for that. And it prevents, for now, it's preventing his knight from coming in for this move. Hopefully that's not a mistake of some sort, but I think it makes sense. But yeah, this rook is on this open file, but it's looking at these supported pawns, and there's no really great square for it to come in. Maybe if he ever tries to push these pawns, it could be used to attack if any of them move ahead of each other. But I don't know, I think I should actually bring this rook over here. It doesn't seem super useful on this file. I feel like I should place this one on the F file, and this one can stay over here, and we can figure out, maybe push these pawns with it. But yeah, we're threatening to really blunt his bishop here. Interesting. I think I'll just play this anyway. It does allow his knight the outpost. If he takes here, I take back, then I take this. Well, he takes, I take. He can take the file, but I'm happy to challenge him on the file and just trade the rooks. If I take here, obviously, if I take here, that gives him a much better position for his bishop, so I don't want to do that. If we do trade this off, he does get this square for his bishop, but then I'll probably just threaten it with the pawn. He could trade for the knight if he wants, I guess. Let's just go ahead and play here. Or should I bring the rook out first? Let's just bring the rook first, actually. No, let's do this first, because it's tempo anyway on his bishop. And actually, since I am pushing this, this might not open up. The F file might not open up, actually. So maybe it will be better to focus on getting the rooks over here. All right, he drops straight back. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have played that, because I did take away my potential outpost for my knight, which I kind of regret a little bit. I can also, since his bishop went back, actually, I can take this pawn and then play here, and then instead we'll open up the d file. Or semi-open, it's not going to be fully open, but I can be up a pawn, I think, because I can support it pretty quickly. So let's do that. All right, he's threatening this weak pawn, which I knew was going to end up being a target. I think I'll just bring the king in. Let's just check for anything, any forks or anything. No, he doesn't really have anything. And then I am potentially able to kick his knight away. So, yeah, king in to protect. Now our king is pretty active, and it is on a light square, which is good. If I play this, his knight can't go anywhere here. No, yeah, it can't go anywhere there. So, yeah, if I play this, he actually does need to go back somewhere. And then if he ever tries to threaten this pawn, I can immediately play b4 to support it. I can also just go for a pawn break here on c4, probably. Use the double pawn to try to open this up, and then place our rooks on the open file. Then this pawn of his on e6 will be pretty useless and weak. If it's not even, if it's just sitting here behind my pawn, it's not even supporting anything. Okay, he's threatening that right away. I could take, once again, his bishop will get a lot more active. If I push, I'm worried that my pawn will be a really easy target. If he comes back here, I don't have a good way to defend it, so I'm just going to support it. Now, if he does take a, it does permanently double these pawns. Yeah, so that's what he does. But I think the other options were worse. And then also I can bring my knight in here to support this one. Okay, he's attacking that pawn. So that there is not good right now. I think I need to just defend it with a rook here. And then I can bring the rook up after, so it's a little bit more. Oh no, I need to defend it here, I mean. So then it does force my rook to be a little bit passive. Maybe I'll go king back to here. No, I can't do that because I hang this pawn. Okay, I'll kick his knight first, I think. Yeah, kick his knight first. Knight goes back. And then can play here, prepare to play here, prepare to move my king over here as well. And this pawn isn't under threat. And then I can support the knight with my king. That allows me to push this pawn and then maybe go for bringing the knight into here. So I think I like all that. So yeah, let's kick the knight first. Okay, I kind of just realized that right after I played that he actually would be able to take because this knight is hanging. So I think I made a little bit of a mistake there. I take, he takes the knight. So then I think he'll just be winning that pawn. And he's threatening the rook as well. So yeah, I did miss that. So I do need to just defend the knight, I think. Defend the knight. Yeah, that definitely was a mistake. Is there anywhere? I mean, I could go here. He takes, but then it's threatening this again. I could go here. He moves again. He doesn't have any threats after that. And then I could take this. But yeah, I think if I go here, take, knight hops back. Then I could come back over here. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to defend this. Nah, I don't really like it. I don't know. I made a mistake with this move. Either this or this. And just let him take the knight. tempo again on the bishop. Bishop moves, and then I take his knight. But then also his rook is looking at this pawn and pinning it to my king, and I don't like that. So I think I will just defend. Actually, the other bad thing is that it allows his knight now to come into here, which before it couldn't with a check. So yeah, that mistake actually messed me up quite a bit. Let's just go here and defend. If he comes in with this check, I'll come over here. The knight's still under threat. So we still have a +2 advantage, but he definitely has reduced my advantage pretty significantly, I think, by the fact that I missed that bishop takes first move. And so what should I have played? So I tried to kick it. If the knight was protected, it would have been fine. But the problem is the knight was hanging. So what should I have done first? Should have just defended the pawn first. I think that's all I should have done. Knight goes here, I go over. Okay, no, he does go back. Surprised that he went back. Maybe if I went over, yeah, he would have had to hop away again. So maybe he figured, I don't know, I didn't calculate that far, but maybe maybe it was winning for me. Okay, so we got his pawn back. I think I'm just going to go here now, support this pawn, and then get the rook here, tempo on the bishop, and then give the pawn even more support. And we're still going to be looking pretty good. I do maybe have to worry about him pushing this pawn. I could do this if he takes... Actually, no, that doesn't work. If he tries to attack this pawn, I'll just support it with this one. So we'll take back like that. I think that that works. Okay, so let's go knight here. Oh, yeah. I just looking at that pin, but I failed to see that the bishop was able to take. So I was doing pretty well, but now I'm missing some important stuff. So we still have a +1 advantage, but it's gonna be a lot harder to win. If I break the pin, he's still under threat. We can go back to this square. Actually, no, if I break the pin, he can just take. So I need to support it with probably just the pawn. Yeah, I think just the pawn is the way to support that. Breaking the pin is not an option. But the one good thing is I still have this really nice pass pawn. And he does not have any pass pawn. So let's support that. I've been blundering, like losing pawns to pins like that, fairly often lately. So maybe I need to do some more puzzles on that or something. Okay, can I go here? Take. I only have. If he takes, I can take back. Then he takes like that. So that's not ideal. If I break the pin, he. Okay, I can go here now. I think, right? If he takes, he has 3 attackers actually, so maybe I can't. here. Take. Here's the knight. The knight can jump in there as well. Here, take. Take. And then the knight or the rook can come in with check. Yeah, I really don't like that. I think I need to just break the pin, not be getting checked. Can't come here to defend. Can't come there. I could come here. And then if he takes with the pawn, maybe I just leave the pawn there actually. No, but then he's threatening to take like this with a discovered check. But I could try to threaten his pawn here. I don't know, I think I need to just break the pin though. I'm going to lose the pawn either way, so I think I go back to here, get on a light square instead of a dark square where he might be able to check me and stuff. Probably go here actually to defend this pawn. Or maybe not, since I'm going to take back with it anyway, so maybe that was a bad idea. Might have been kind of pointless. Go here right away with tempo on the bishop maybe. Or like this. Oh yeah, because then I can also win this pawn, right? Okay, let's just try that. He takes here, I take here. And once he moves the bishop, I can take there. Okay, he just goes with the check. I think I'll just go here. But then that is a light square. He can't check right here. Or that is a dark square, I mean. But yeah, I think I'll just go here and block this. Then there's no concern really about checks for now. The rook is not as active, but he does have a pass pawn now. So yeah, it all started with just missing that one move, and then also missing the pin. Those two have caused the game to become a lot more equal. We're equal material now when I was up. I think I was up a full piece. But let's focus on keeping the pieces on light squares as much as I can. And I think I can win this pawn here. And then I might be able to win this pawn as well, with the knight attacking it, and can get a rook on it. And if I can win this pawn, then I'll definitely have a nice advantage back, I think. And if I do go here, okay, he's just going to go back like that. I'll take this. Could go here with tempo again on him, but I don't know if that really does anything. He can't go. He could either go here, or if I go here, he goes here or here. The knight takes here, the rook takes here. This would be pretty passive. This would block his rook in more. And if he went there, I could just take this, right? But then if he does he have a discovered check? I think he does actually on the rook, so that wouldn't be a good idea. So let's just take the pawn. I think that's what I'll go for. And then now this pawn is really weak. It is also a pass pawn now though. So he does have two pass pawns, but I'm threatening his knight, so his knight needs to move or he needs to defend it. And then, yeah, I'm definitely thinking of here, if I can. Right now I can't go there with the bishop, but if I can get here, put pressure on this, or this square as well, and then get the rook back here. I could start with the rook back here. Actually, yeah, rook back here right away, bishop has to move, and then I can actually just win the pawn. So I think I could do that once his knight moves. So maybe knight here. He doesn't have... Oh, he's just going to defend it. Okay, but then, yeah, I think same thing. I'll come back here. I believe I can win the pawn. And this will be nice because I can win it with a check on the king, and then I can force the rook trade while being up material. So unless he has a good intermediate move, but I don't think he does. He doesn't have this because the knight covers it, which would win the rook, but yeah, knight covers it, so we're good. Oh, he could push the pawn, actually. But then if he does that, I still take this, so I think we're good. We could push the pawn instead of moving the bishop. And then, yeah, same idea, basically. And I'll be happy to trade the rook off if we can do that. And then it will just be my last rook and he won't have one. And my rook should be pretty effective at neutralizing his other passed pawn, while mine might have a nice path to get across. Or maybe my knight could potentially protect his against his passed pawn, and then my rook can support mine going across the board. But yeah, I think that bringing his king forward like that, I think is a mistake, because now I am going to be able to force that rook trade, I think. And when I force the rook trade, it also will send his king back to the last rank, his the 8th rank again. So it will be slightly less active. Oh, interesting. So he doesn't want that check. He doesn't want the rook trade. But if I go here, and I'm going to take the pawn either way. Can't go here to win the bishop because this pawn protects it, but might be a way to pressure the bishop more. Okay, let's just take. The fact that my knight has still been covering this square has been really useful, because that is the one kind of threatening square that the dark square bishop has had. Okay, he's moving his knight. I think I need to activate my other rook. I have two options. I could try to just... He's blocking my pawn right now. He's preparing maybe to come here, take, he wins the pawn. So let's actually just attack his pawn and protect that square with our rook here, instead of taking the open file. I think that's a better idea. And we'll keep his bishop tied down. Oh yeah, actually he can't take back with the bishop anyway because it's still pinned, but I think let's just do that anyway because we're still attacking his pawn there. And if the pawn pushes, we have two attackers, and he would have two defenders, but his bishop is pinned. So we'll be able to just win the pawn, I believe, if he tries to push it. So maybe he needs to defend it with his rook. Right, that's what he goes for. I can go here, threatening to take his knight. If he takes, I can take back. He can break the pin, I can move. I could also just stack up this, and then I have three attackers on it. Or no, I have two. Does he have a good way to defend it? I'm not sure. Okay, let's just... do I go here first? Yeah, let's just do this. Maybe he brings his king in to defend it. Should I reroute my knight somewhere? No, I'm not sure. Here, here, here. No, I can already go there anyway, so I just feel like the knight isn't that optimally placed right now. Okay, he hops in there. If I go here, does he have a fork? Check. It's not a fork though, right? He will have. No, he doesn't have that. I think I can take. I don't have much time, so I need to play quickly. Oh, never mind. He's just protecting it. Somehow I missed that for a second. So let's just drop back here. Okay, I guess I could start pushing here. No, I can't because that's guarding. Let's go. Actually, I'm not sure where to go. Let me just go here. Just activate my king. Okay, he could try to take that pawn. Actually, let me just support it for now. Oh wait, I could kick the knight here and then take, right? I actually totally wasn't looking at that. Okay, we'll take that first, I guess. Okay, kick the knight. Now I do have checking options as well. And when I take this, it's with check. So we can get that rook trade, I think. So if we can just simplify this down to an endgame, and I can focus on this pawn. I mean, we are kind of already in an endgame, but if we can simplify everything even more, and I can focus on this pawn, then I think we'll be looking pretty good. I'm going to try to play quickly if I can to get some time back. Take a check again, keep our pieces on light squares. Capture bishop isn't going to be that useful. Also, I have this now. I can threaten the knight and pin the bishop, which I think I like. I could also go here and just try to. No, he has two attackers on that. So yeah, let's go here. Threaten the knight, pin the bishop. And then continue walking the king up, I think. Okay, knight hops over there. If I go here, I can threaten the rook. But I think we're okay. Trying to see all the knight threats on a low timer though can always be a little bit annoying. Okay, let's simply go here. We defend this pawn and we're attacking his pawn here. I don't think he has a way to protect that. And his bishop is still pinned. And now I also freed this up to start pushing my pass pawn. I do have to be careful about... No, you can't check there right now. I have to be careful about... Oh, he resigns. Okay, cool. So we're up to 1197. That's a new high. I think that game went pretty well, except for those two blunders I had like going into the early in game. But we were able to clutch it up and still come back, despite the fact that he equalized the material at one point. So I'm interested to see the game review on this one. But we're one game from 1200 if we were to win, which is pretty cool. All right, accuracy is It's not amazing. It's okay. 77.4. His was 72.6. We both had two blunders actually. Um, my game rating is 1500 and his is 1250. We both had two blunders and two misses, so we played pretty similarly. What was what were my blunders? I mean, I know the one at the end that was a blunder, but yeah, I guess it was those two. It was missing the fact that he could take that pawn at that one point and then threaten the knight and it wasn't protected and then it totally messed me up. And then also missing the pin on my pawn when he took that right after. Those must be my two blunders. Alright, that was his blunder. Oh my gosh. He hung the knight and I didn't see that. Well, that's one of my misses, obviously. That's terrible. I'm sure people in the video were watching and like really frustrated with that I didn't see that. Wow. And the thing is, I've had this same thing happen before. For some reason, at this rating range, this blunder is fairly common, and also not seeing it is fairly common. It's just like, I don't know, I feel like I see most stuff at this rating range, and other people do as well. Like, you don't just straight up blunder pieces very often. But this is the one that I see the most, like this exact knight to h5, or maybe on the other side of the board, same thing, and then not realizing that the queen can just take it. But neither of us realized, which is pretty bad. Okay, that was a mistake by him because I had that fork. That was inaccurate for him to allow the queen trade, and then yeah, I think he was really just hoping that I would somehow not see the queen there by playing that move, because otherwise it makes no sense to allow that queen trade when you're going to be down material like that. Alright, queen up was okay. It preferred actually castling here. So this open file was kind of useless in the end. I never got much out of it. I just had to move away from it because it was pretty, blunted by this wall of pawns. But yeah, so this was still an excellent move. That was excellent. This was kind of a little bit of a risky move, it felt like, playing e4. I want to see if pushing to e5 was good, though. Okay, it was excellent. I just didn't like that I lost my potential knight outpost by doing that. It wanted me to take the pawn right away, though. But why is that? Why is taking the pawn right away better? That seems really bad, because then I give him such a good outpost. Or not outpost, but just such a good diagonal. I was definitely not going to play that. I don't know why the engine likes it. But either way, the move I played was still excellent, it says. And then here we won a pawn. So we were up +2, now we're up +3. That was good to cover this. It actually wants the rook here. That seems like such a passive move, though, because the rook can never do anything except for just cover this pawn if it comes up here. So I didn't think that seemed good to me. Oh, I should have protected with this with the knight, actually. That's what it wanted. Prevent the doubling, mess up my pawns a little bit. Because then if he takes, I just get a really active knight and I'm pressuring this. Yeah, I should have definitely done that. Yeah, this was bad. Okay, this actually doesn't say it was a blunder, though. But I thought it was. It just says it's an inaccuracy. But then, yeah, and this is what I should have played, covering the pawn. Which I realized afterwards. Wait. It was a mistake? If I take... I mean, I didn't want to give up the rook. Yeah, I can win the bishop back, so I guess it's a knight and a bishop for the rook, but rooks are so powerful in endgames. And he took the pawn too, so it just doesn't seem like it was worth it. So if I take... He doesn't even want to take you. He takes... That's only good. Okay, well that's what I was scared of. I'm surprised that it was not very good, actually. He takes here, and then we're still at +2, so all we did was lose a pawn there. But instead, I played this, and this was my miss. Knight jumps back. That was a mistake, because I messed this up. But that wasn't even a blunder, so where's my blunder at? If these weren't blunders, then where did I blunder? That was great. This was my blunder? That's weird that that was the blunder and not the other stuff. But I felt like I needed to get my king out. I didn't want to start getting checked a bunch. I felt like I really needed to get my king out of the way of like the rook coming in. If he takes, I take back. Rook comes in. Seemed bad, but this was best. But right now we're totally equal on the eval bar. So everything got reset at this point, but then I came back afterwards. That was best to block. Yeah, I really like this move because it totally kind of weakened his rook, which was going to be very powerful if this file opened up and my king is still here. And then it also created a really nice target that I was able to win later on. That was his blunder because he left the pawn hanging. What did it want? It wanted him to go here. Oh yeah, no, that makes total sense. Just defend it. Defend the bishop, and then the pawn is protected because it's behind the bishop. So that was a bad mistake. This was only good. I thought this was a solid move here. It preferred me to go here right away. Here. And here. I'm just curious how this will play out. And it still doesn't want me to take this yet. It wants me to take here first. And then start pushing the pawn. And keep it, and it's already supported by the rook. So I guess it wanted me to just focus more on quickly getting the rook behind the pawn and try to push right away. My objective was to like simplify everything first and then worry about pushing it at the very end. That was a mistake. It wanted the knight there. Wants the knight here, but oh yeah, because it's the bishop is still pinned. Yeah. So, and I think I was considering that move. And then if he takes, I take. Bishop's still pinned. He breaks the pin. I go back, and then we're looking really good there. What did we do instead? We doubled up the rooks right away. That was inaccurate. This was best where I dropped back to. I think it's, yeah, I had to drop back to there. And then this was a blunder. Oh, by trapping a piece. I think this was also where I was really low on time. Yeah, this was basically like a random move because I realized how low my clock was. It was like on 1 second. So this was not a square that I was like thinking that much about. I just was like, oh crap, my time's really low. Let me just move here. But I can't believe that was actually a blunder. So it wants him to go here. And then the rook is trapped. Okay, but that's a pretty hard to see trap, honestly. I don't think I would have seen that if I were playing black there. But it was a blunder. If he had seen that, I would have been in trouble. It would have equalized the position, but he missed that, so that was his second miss, I think. And then from here on, we were chilling. We kicked the knight away with the pawn, forced the trade of rooks, and then it was over. And then he resigned once we got to this pawn because he had no way to defend it. And then we were definitely going to be able to get this pawn across the board pretty easily. And even if we had to give this one up, we have the other one on the edge as well. So yeah, we're at 1197. We're super close to 1200, which is really cool. And we had 2 wins today, which is nice because the past couple times I played 2 games, it was just 1 win and 1 loss. So this time we actually got 2 in a row and made some more progress on the Elo. And yeah, this has been day 57. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on day 58.